Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. The greatest transfer of wealth from one generation to the next in human history will pass most people by. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. This is also a shift from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, or from the operational to the industrial level of the Internet. This is especially important now, as the FTX accident is all anyone can talk about in the media. They are making an effort to spread the falsehood that all cryptocurrencies are fraudulent. Blockchain technology and virtual currencies are two entirely distinct things. Hear me out. By reporting widely on the FTX collapse, they hope to convince you that cryptocurrencies are a fraud. Furthermore, cryptocurrency investment is a surefire way to lose money. However, innovations like blockchain, distributed ledger technology on demand, liquidity chat, good day gas, solar, and wind power will be the driving forces behind the growth of our economy in the years to come. If you're still here, I'll let you in on the new 1%'s secret. Oil and gas are so 20th century, while nowadays it's all about data, software, and attention. Think about your response and the way forward as you weigh your options. What is happening behind the scenes is as follows. Take a gander at the bridge. CBDCs, or central bank digital currency, have been used by central banks to facilitate economic integration since 2017. While you're distracted, they plan to switch over the entire monetary system on blockchain. Ripple XRP is the solution to this issue and a ready-to-use liquidity bridge, but there are many central banks and they will need one to support all of these CBDCs, Mr. Hausler from the terminology department. Central banks try to keep people thinking like consumers rather than investors. You can't just lend them cash today and Bitcoin tomorrow, can you? How many of you understand the difference between settling a dispute and making a payment? There are hardly any pairs? Let me give you a very high-level overview of the situation. When I paid with my Visa card at the restaurant, they let me leave. The police are not called, even though they say they will pay for my supper as part of that. That is a charge. But someone still needs to wire funds to the eatery, and I need to pay my credit card, ACH, or whatever they use. That money has yet to be paid. Historically, the processes of payment and settlement have been treated as wholly separate entities. SWIFT is an inherently flawed method of electronic payment. That has the problem of making it hard to make a good payment because you can't verify the recipient's identity. You may not be aware of the fees or conversion rate that will apply until the payment settles. The only factor in their isolation and institutional payments is their shared past, thus we designed a method that works. These methods date back to the days when magnetic tape had to be physically moved from the daytime-only transaction computer to the overnight-only settlement computer in order to facilitate interbank communication. There was no way to settle during the day because the tape was needed on the computer handling the bank's transactions. The final product needed to be transferred to the colony's mainframe. I am not joking at all. And I mean it. The flashy interface of your bank's app can make you think it's the coolest thing ever. It's completely mobile-friendly, with a thoroughly modern feel. However, when you scratch the surface and see the layers beneath, you could think you've gone back in time. You might be in your mid to late 70s by this point. The money tracking methods that were developed at the time are obsolete. No matter how terrible blockchain and all cryptocurrencies are, the payment industry will adapt. There is a large number of very little payments going to companies like Uber, Aaron at Seagate, and Amazon. Many Amazon.com merchants have used Uber and forked up cash. UberX really wants you to be a driver for them so that they can use your milk money right away. If you're a Filipino truck driver and you're short on cash, we can help. However, efficient payments are necessary. So that this may occur, they're looking for payment methods as reliable as email, but have so far been unsuccessful. And just the money part. Hundreds of people are employed by each of these companies. Just think about how great it would feel to go up to any of these up-and-coming companies and demand that they lay off all of the hundreds of people who are currently being paid by them. If you ran a payment processing business, we'll cover all your debts. However, no one is able to accomplish this. So, if I were to establish a local Boston area competitor to errand apps like TaskRabbit, I'd need the ability to accept payments from customers all over the world. My firm result precludes achieved by staffing 100 additional payment engineers. That can't be the wisest thing to do. This will lead to a shift in the status quo. There is a problem, and it will be resolved. In addition, this is a great chance. However, it is unnecessary for you. If this approach was used in every transaction, expenses may be reduced. Exactly. That's the point. This whole thing appealed to me, since I am self-aware. In my opinion, such a currency would not be useful in global trade. It's unnecessary to do so. Whether you use credit cards, however, there is an urgent need to lower the interchange costs. It can be obtained. This is why financial institutions have been reluctant to eat each other. They presumably all concur and proclaim okay and hold on a second since, like Libra, this is under intense strain. It will be possible to implement my proposal through the use of the order. I am not going to lose my market share. Calibrating the fluctuating values of currencies involved in those in a few seconds. You'll have to sell dollars to get XRP and then sell XRP to get pesos, generating friction. However, with today's computers, you can instantly monetize and calibrate the euro to the dollar for a few basis points or the yen, and so on. You mentioned how quickly and openly international money transfers may be made. And I guess SWIFT is a bit buggy, too. Santander seems to be doing this via a partnership with Ripple. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Therefore, I agree that international trade is one of the most alluring applications for this technology. We are all too aware of the inefficiency, opacity, expense, and lag inherent with cross-border mediation. Therefore, I believe that technology will have a significant impact with the proper safeguards in place. It's also possible to employ a cooperative strategy. Please don't take this as my approval of any specific tactic. However, there are a number of organizations working together to improve international trade through innovation, the removal of barriers, and more openness. I think it's safe to say that there are alternatives to a globally stable coin that could eventually gain traction. The head of a major Canadian financial institution. Furthermore, they stopped communicating with Brazil altogether. Durable reals are too pricey for their budget. Since the demand has decreased, they announce that they will be going to establish a relationship with a correspondent bank. If they had access to XFast, they could address their consumers' worries even if they didn't have the capital on hand to do so. Every year, more than $20 trillion in products and services were brought across the border into Brazil. It moves slowly and has a high rate of errors. It's a bit costly. The story reminds me of Silicon Valley versus the Goliaths, a story I consider to be a classic, but this one is so broken. My interactions with financial institutions are greatly improved by the fact that they loathe quick. Swift has earned their ire. Many of Swift's patrons despise him. And if you can sell into it, you're in a great spot. Do I think there are any other possible vertical applications? And if I went back, would we be able to do anything differently? Sometimes I find myself wondering that, too. But I also think we've been so fortunate, thanks to some skill and good fortune, that we've built up a lot of steam in my perspective, actually utilizing these technologies to address a problem. Want to get in on the action? Give it a shot. You're the pioneer, IMF, are you? Do you think the International Monetary Fund will ever hold cryptocurrencies? I didn't write or share that. Remember that I'm from the law department. The situation calls for me to proceed with extreme caution. Since I think we silenced Ross with that one, I won't go into great depth on whether or not I should accept what the IMF is going to do. Some countries would be required by existing legal system institutions to adopt a crypto asset as their currency if that were to occur. Julian recently, in order to better understand cryptocurrency, I recently attended a meeting with some of the world's largest institutional investors. they had zero resources at the moment. Whether or not they still do so, I cannot say. When new competitors enter the market, however, supply remains constant even as demand increases. To see into the future, a degree from MIT is not necessary. Once upon a time, interbank transactions were managed by Quick, the global messaging network connecting banks and financial institutions. However, with a resounding tidal wave, a brand new technological development emerged. Without the need for intermediaries, almost instantaneous cross-border payments were made possible by Ripple's blockchain-based platform, which began to gradually but inexorably shake up the market. It was also an attractive option for banks seeking to modernize their payment systems because of the enhanced security and transparency it provided. As its popularity grew, banks increasingly adopted Ripple, and it soon became the dominant system for making interbank transfers. The benefits of using the Ripple technology and its associated digital money were simply too great to ignore. The company's ready access to liquidity provided by XRP as OTL grew in popularity, more and more services were made available to users. Financial institutions, such as banks, can use XRP as a bridge currency to facilitate faster and cheaper cross-border transfers. The adoption of XRP and OTO by financial institutions led to greater demand for the cryptocurrency and a subsequent increase in its price. In order to ensure they have access to sufficient funds for payment purposes, institutions began buying large quantities of XRP. The attention of investors resulted in a large-scale purchase of XRP. As the popularity of Ripple grew, it became clear that a faster, more effective, and more secure technology was replacing the conventional methods of making cross-border payments, sending prices soaring. Ripple's innovation and the incorporation of XRP and its OTL product have led to a rise in XRP's price, making it one of the most valuable cryptocurrencies on the market. There has been an irreversible shift in the financial sector. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.